This week on Fly Rod Chronicles, we're down here in Belize and we're in pursuit for my first ever permit on the fly rod.
An awful lot of guys have spent 6, 7, 10 years going out there trying to get their first permit. It's not an easy thing to do.
I've been chasing this fish for a long time, so stay tuned to see if I can bring this fish to hand.
Traveling the world, fishing, enjoying the great outdoors. Those are things that would have seemed impossible to me when I was a kid growing up in the mountains of West Virginia. I'm a lucky man and I never want to forget it, and I'm hoping that sharing my experiences with folks will inspire them to do the same. I'm Curtis Fleming, and these are my Fly Rod Chronicles.
The coolest thing about this particular shoot was I got to come down with my family. I got to sit back the first part of the trip and actually vacation. I got to watch my girls fish. I got to watch Lakin get on some bonefish. Autumn really didn't get out and wade the flats. She did a lot of fishing around our resort and around the dock. Shelly, she went out, she caught one jack and she was done. You know, for our family trip, we had to line up all of our spring breaks. The girls wanted to go to Belize. In the background, that made me smile because I had an ulterior motive, and that was that I have never caught a permit, the elusive gray ghost of the sea. A few years back, we went to Mexico and was fishing for the Grand Slam. The Grand Slam consists of a tarpon, bonefish, and a permit. I came up short on the permit. Every time I've went flats fishing, I have come up short on the permit. So this was the fish that we're targeting.
Large eyes, they're looking up, they can see very well. They're generally in crystal clear water. So not only can they see that it's not a real fly, but they can probably see how many turns you put on your knot.
So for this trip, knowing that we're going after the permit, we had to break out the big rods. We packed 9 weights with saltwater line, 9-foot tapered leader that would taper down to 15-pound fluoro. Also, we had to pack big reels that would withhold those big long runs that the permit would take them. With recent reports that the weather was going to be perfect and that there was permit in the area, the only thing left to do was let James toss up some flies.
What we have here is one of the guide's favorite flies. It's called a Christmas Island Special. We have this orange crystal flash. I like to make the tail about the length of the hook shank. Then you just fold the crystal flash back, and wrap it down and secure it facing backwards. Now I'm going to wrap back up to the front of the hook, and I'm going to secure on the eyes. Medium bead chain eyes. So then the next step is to actually wrap this crystal flash up for the body. And I'll actually turn the fly over and fold this back. Now it's time to put on the last step, which is tan Arctic fox. Secure the fox right at the head of the eyes, just like so. And then you do the whip finish, and you're done.
Stick around. When Fly Rod Chronicles returns, we're going to hit the flats and we're going to go after the elusive gray ghost of the sea, the permit.
This segment is brought to you by TU's Veterans Service Partnership.
Welcome back to Fly Rod Chronicles. We're at the Blue Bonefish in Belize, hoping to get my first permit on the fly. You know, Jim, he runs an incredible resort. He hires local guides, the best guides in the area. I was really looking forward to meeting Roger. Roger keeps up with the permit, and I've been told that he is one of the best to find this fish.
And we hear you're the man. Huh?
All right.
You gonna make it happen?
Well, we'll see.
Uh-huh.
Yes, man.
If I get all excited, can I do a backflip off that after I catch one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, mind you hold yourself.
All right. Might hook myself, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to it, man. Looking
All right.
forward to it.
All right, we're gonna try to get a nice one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You know, the permit numbers in Central America has increased over the years, but you still have to go out on the flats and you have to find them. It's all visual. It's about finding the fish. And if we don't find them, I don't get to make a cast.
Belize is one of the most beautiful places I've traveled to. Belize is known for its crystal clear, flat, shallow water. Unlike trout streams where I cast a structure, this is all sight fishing. If you don't see a fish, they are most likely not there.
This is Yankee Stadium right here. This is big leagues.
You know, as we were rolling around the shore in the flats, I saw these fish traps, and Roger started explaining to me that, you know, there was no nets, that the locals have taken them down.
It's Westervelt Ecological Services. Time for conservation.
So the bonefish and tarpon trust are trying to eliminate and get rid of these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guys.
And they've been catching a permit.
Because the permit is just excellent table fare, they were overfished by the local fishermen. The Bonefish and Tarpon Trust has done a lot of work in Central America to preserve the big three: the bonefish, the tarpon, and the permit. It's made them realize that by protecting these fish and not eating them will generate tourism and bring more people down to help out Central America.
From a conservation end, it's starting to catch on from what the Bonefish and the Tarpon Trust has done. It takes a lot of money, a lot of efforts for this to happen, and it's good to see that they are eliminating it and making it better for us sportsmen.
Sometimes the hardest part of catching a permit is finding that permit. And I know they're there. It's just a matter of time before we find and get on the schools. You know, that first day out, I have to admit, it was very slow as we patrolled the flats looking for permit. You know, I felt sorry for the crew. They didn't have anything to film except us running up and down the flats looking for fish. You know, it got so boring that my field producer actually fell asleep. You know, as I was casting, I could hear some people snickering behind me, but I'm used to that. And I thought they were making fun of my cast because the wind was hitting me in the face. When I looked back, our guide was rolling laughing. And Chad,
These chairs are comfy.
I was gonna yell fish on, right?
I'd have got it. I'd have got it if you didn't have fish on.
I figured you'd jump like this.
Bullshit. A man wants to take a 5-second nap and you get busted. I mean,
If I could just find a way to do it without snoring, I wouldn't get busted.
I mean,
Man, this sunshine, I'm all warm and cozy. Fishing's kind of slow. I'm getting fired.
you know, after day one being a slow day, me and the girls, we went to the Palapa Bar, and it was exactly what I needed. Got to rewind, got to relax.
And we even left our Fly Rod Chronicles logo behind.
And then after that, we got to go hang out and watch West Virginia Mountaineers make it to the Sweet 16. And that's just what I needed to get ready for tomorrow.
Closed captioning is provided to you by Buff, the original multifunctional headwear.
You know, I have to admit, after looking for the permit, I was going through some fish withdrawal. So my guide and my camera crew, they let me throw at a couple bonefish.
What happens if you throw us in a bunch of bonefish?
Yeah,
They go crazy?
they would.
I came here to catch the permit. But when you see telling bones like that, it is very hard not to get sidetracked.
There's a lot of bones there. Hey, more to your left, more to your,
There we go. There we go. There's a bony. All right. There we go. Very nice, very nice. Group effort. Had to get to the fish, didn't it? There we go, huh?
You know, there's gonna be bonefish and tarpon taunting me, but to be dedicated and to catch that permit, you gotta stay on the permit.
see them, they're right here. Just a small school.
What are you seeing, permit or bone?
Permit, oh, that was permit.
You know, everything goes from sheer boredom to total all-out excitement, and it happens that quick.
Kind of feeling like Michael Jordan lacing these things up, you know.
When we got to the nervous water and we got to where the fish were, we would slowly get out of the boat. We would bring our height down and we'd sneak up on these school of fish.
It's a lot easier to sneak up on them quietly on foot. You could see we were able to get quite close. Now you see all those fish, right?
I do.
Spread out from there to there.
Yeah.
Okay, think you can reach them?
I think I can.
Okay, go. Nice and smooth, make the cast perfect.
So my first ever presentation to a permit to where it actually has a chance to eat. The cast feels good. I know that my guide has taught me slow, long strips. And then as soon as I feel it, set it, pull, and it breaks off. I'm telling you, the amount of emotion that happens when you know that you've traveled thousands of miles to come down here and to catch that permit and it breaks off.
He threw it out there perfectly. He made the strip just right. When the fish hit, it was so explosive and they're so powerful with their tail that when he came back to set the hook as that fish was racing away, it just blew up the leader right now. And that was 15-pound fluorocarbon that got snapped just like that. That's how powerful that fish is. You could get away with something like that on a trout stream coming up like that with the rod. But with these fish, when you set the hook with your arm, you do a good strip strike like that, and then you let that fish run. That first run, you just try to hang on, don't make any mistakes. Point the rod at the fish and clear the line. Make sure it doesn't get tangled up around the reel handle and just let him run. You cannot stop the first run of a permit or a bonefish.
The permit that gets away, it gets past you. Mentally, you got to get back in the saddle. I had to listen to Jim. He was calm. He kept me calm.
Get too excited, just take your time. They're not that big, you don't have to hit them that hard.
Okay.
They're not 40-pound tarpon. When they go away from you, they got a tremendous amount of power.
So I get that shot at the permit. He said they're going from left to right.
See where the bubbles are?
Are they going
They're
to the
moving
right?
to the right now, yep. Oh, you got a perfect shot right now. Oh, that's good, that's good. Wait, strip, strip, strip.
Start your stripping, and all at once, when you fill that permit, and you stick it, and it takes off running, it was like everything came together. Knew the fight was on. I knew I had to land this permit, but that feeling, the emotion that overcomes you is unbelievable.
Nice and slow, you got him?
Good.
Fish
Got
on.
my first permit on the fly.
All right, perfect. Let him go, let him go. Clear the reel first thing.
Oh,
Now
man.
don't do anything, just let him run.
Yeah, you the man.
Good job.
Oh, man. Wow. What a
Some
feeling.
people do it 5, 6, 7 years to get their first permit, so you should feel pretty good.
This is
We've
a
been
rush.
out here, what, for 2 hours now.
This is a rush. Really is. I'm telling you, kid from West Virginia coming out here, you can't describe this to anyone. I mean, you know, you grew up in Ohio.
No, I used to just fantasize about going to the Keys and the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah. I'm into my backing, and that's probably quite normal, huh?
Yeah, don't get too worried. I've tested that knot before, a couple times. Just take your time. What you don't want to do is let them get any slack. And other than that, this isn't like your local river. There's not a tree in sight. There's not a log anywhere.
Nice.
One thing that's different about this than in a river, though, keeping the rod tip high keeps them out of the coral. That's the only thing you got to worry about is them getting their nose into something on the bottom. So if you keep as much line off of the rocks, especially if they run sideways, they can wrap you around something sticking up.
Right.
So
from looking at the bottom of my feet, this coral is sharp.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're going to try to land this permit, and we're going to take a commercial. Come back right after this, and you're going to see me on my first permit.
Fishing bound.
Instantly, you look down and your reel is singing, and it's low backing, and away they go.
I'm into my backing, and that's probably quite normal, huh?
Yeah, don't get too worried. I've tested that knot before, a couple times.
The ghost.
You see what you can see those black tips? So looks like a little. Ooh, beautiful.
You know, when I hooked in this permit, I had no idea what size it was. I did know this was my first permit, and it did not matter. As it was coming closer and I could see it, I saw that it was not a real big permit, but it was a permit. I can go back to West Virginia and I can tell the boys back home that I caught a permit on the fly.
And that's a fly that your son tied, right?
Right.
James.
It's called a squint. It's what people that can't pronounce shrimp call shrimp around here in Belize. I think that's how it probably got his name.
Isn't that something?
Some local guide said, that's a squimp, and that some nice American went back and wrote that down.
Well, that squimp is going in my squat.
All right, now if you can get him right on top, slide it, just keep him right there and slide him over and let me get a hold of that tail. And there he is.
That's what it feels like right there.
There's your first permit.
That's what it feels like. How cool. I probably look like a little kid that stole my brother's train set at Christmas. I mean, that is awesome.
Look at that.
That is so awesome.
See why they're so hard to see? They're just pure silver. It's just like a mirror.
Awesome. It's time for Trout Unlimited's Release of the Week.
It's as healthy as could be.
Now, wait a minute. I wanted to eat that fish. Huh?
They are delicious.
They're delicious, but
I've been told.
But just real quick, you were talking about the protection.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things that's happened here in Belize in the last 5 years or so, is the Bonefish and Tarpon Trust came down here and really helped the local people realize that those fish are worth more alive than they were dead in somebody's table.
Right.
And so they put full-blown catch and release on permit, tarpon, and bonefish through this whole country of Belize. And then they made certain areas out here, marine reserves, where you can't kill anything. And when those fish grow up, then they come out here on the flats for us. And it's really been a great thing. We've seen the average size going up, and as you saw, there's plenty of numbers of permits swimming around. I mean, we're not 3 miles from the lodge right now.
Right. And what's great about it is all the people out there that watches us says, if Curtis can catch those fish, check out Blue Bonefish Belize and come down here and get you some of this. This is awesome.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank
Thanks,
you, brother.
We loved having you this week.
It's been awesome.
You know, fly fishing is always challenging. They say you'll never master the sport. This particular time, it was about catching the permit, a whole different level of challenge. You know, it's been years that I've been dreaming about catching the permit. And that's what I love about fly fishing, is that it gives you something to dream about.
When you catch your first permit in your life, we award one of them to you, and you can take that home with you.
Wow.
It's got a local craftsman here that makes those things.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for putting me on my first permit. That is awesome, something that I'll remember forever. Thanks for hanging out with Fly Rod Chronicles. Come back next week.
I'm just a fishing bum. If I don't have the gas, then I stick out my thumb. I've gotta get there one way or another. I'm a fishing bum.